Colégio Europeu Astoria. Formar para o sucesso.
Good afternoon to you. It is a chilly morning here in the Boston area, and I'm happy to have the chance to speak with you for an hour or so about the idea of multiple intelligences. I know that your conference is focused on language and language learning. I'm not an expert on the learning of languages, but I will make some comments throughout the lecture. In the English language, the word intelligence is singular, and I think that's true in most Romance languages. And there's an implication there that just like you can step on a scale and figure out what you weigh, or go to a ruler and see how tall you are, that somehow we should be able to apply a measure to the mind or the brain and come up with a single figure, which is how smart you are, often called your IQ. This is a very popular, pervasive view, but I want to try to persuade you today that that view is insufficient and doesn't really cover all that we know about cognition. The story of intelligence as a singular capacity, measurable by a single testing instrument, goes back about a century to France, where there was a psychologist named Alfred Binet. And Binet was asked by the Education Ministry in Paris to help predict which students would have difficulty in school. That was an important question because many people were coming in to the capital from the countryside, probably similar things happening in Lisbon, Madrid. Binet approached this challenge in a completely empirical way. He asked many questions of many children. If every child got the answer correct, he threw the question away. If no child got the answer correct, he threw the question away. But if the question was discriminating, and those who answered correctly did well in school, and those who failed did poorly in school, he kept those questions, and they became the first IQ test. And it's a very good, quick measure of how well you will do in a certain kind of school. And I came up with a definition of an intelligence. Intelligence is a biopsychological potential. That means a mental potential and a biological potential to process information in certain ways so that you can solve problems. And intelligence is a biopsychological potential, a mental potential, a biological potential, a brain potential to solve problems or to make things which are valuable. When I first began to write about MI theory in education, I actually wrote that I didn't think that the theory had much to contribute to the learning of languages, because I was naive and I said, well, if you have good linguistic intelligence, then you'll learn well, and if you have poor linguistic intelligence, then you'll have difficulty. But many, many people who teach foreign languages said, Howard, you're wrong. Indeed, multiple intelligences theory can be quite useful to the teaching and learning of language. And I was happy to be told by people who actually teach language that MI theory can be helpful. Here are some of the things that I learned from people who are language teachers. One, there are many different ways into language, from singing to playing games to having a social conversation, to buying and selling, to learning poetry, and these different entry points can activate different intelligences. That wasn't something that I had thought about before. Also, language is not only something you do for communication purposes. Language is a system which can be analyzed.
Colégio Europeu Astoria. Formar para o sucesso.